Welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
And today, we're going into the world of magic.
Oh, fun.
But not the how they do that kind of
Right.
thing. This is practical magic,
Okay.
and we're going to be using Matt Fore as our source.
Okay.
He had a lecture that was recorded, and we're analyzing it.
Awesome.
Our mission is to help you steal his best secrets for making A and Y presentation more captivating.
All right, let's do it.
Little bit about Matt Fore.
Okay.
Runs a magic shop,
Uh-huh.
performs regularly, even has a daughter who helps him demonstrate.
Oh, cool.
So, really interesting guy.
Yeah, Matt's approach really resonates with me.
Yeah.
He seems like a really cool guy.
So some of the things that we're going to be uncovering today.
Okay.
What's the difference between a trick that works behind a counter versus at a cocktail party?
Okay.
How do you handle someone asking for a trick when you're totally caught off guard?
Mm.
What's the one thing that Matt would kill to know about other performers? And how does it apply to ANY presentation?
Interesting.
We'll be talking to our expert who
Yeah.
can break this down for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, Matt Fore, what a guy.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
It seems to be.
What I like about him is he is so focused on the practicality
Yes.
of magic.
Yeah.
He doesn't really chase after the newest, flashiest tricks.
Yeah.
But instead, he asks himself, will this work for me?
Yeah.
For my style in the venues that I perform at.
Yeah.
He's not like these,
Yeah.
magicians that just buy tricks just to have it and put it on the shelf.
Right.
Like you're saying, like that would be good for behind a counter,
Right.
like in a shop demonstrating tricks.
Yeah.
But not for strolling magic or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Right. Impractical.
Yeah.
And that focus on practicality
Yeah.
really shines when we start to talk about impromptu magic.
Yeah.
He's a firm believer in always being ready.
Always be prepared.
Right. Even when you least expect it.
Yeah.
He tells the story about being asked to perform at a restaurant
Oh, wow.
while just standing in line.
Oh, that's pressure.
Right. Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
But it's a great reminder to always have a few tricks up your sleeve.
Exactly.
Metaphorically speaking, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And one of his go-to impromptu tricks is called the nickel on the forehead,
Okay.
which is a perfect example of simplicity and impact.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
So picture this.
Great.
You ask a kid to hold their hair back,
Mm-hmm.
press a nickel to their forehead,
Okay.
and then poof, the nickel vanishes from your hand.
Oh, wow.
The kid feels the spot on their forehead
Mm-hmm.
and thinks it's still there,
Yeah.
and the confusion builds,
Yeah.
and then the laughs erupt.
Oh, that's great.
Right. So simple.
Yeah, so funny.
But the brilliance of this trick
Yeah.
is in the misdirection.
Uh-huh.
While everyone is focused on the forehead, the nickel subtly disappears
Right.
from the magician's hand.
Yeah.
It's classic technique that's effective because it plays on our natural tendency
Hmm.
to focus on the most obvious action.
Right.
Right. You're looking at the forehead.
You're not paying attention to the hands.
Right.
Yeah.
And the timing of it.
Uh-huh.
It's like sleight of hand for the mind.
Oh, I like that.
And Matt doesn't just explain the how,
Okay.
he digs into the why behind the techniques.
That's cool.
Breaks down how timing
Yeah.
and misdirection work together to create that moment of astonishment.
I mean, that's where the real value is, right?
Yes.
Not just learning the tricks,
Right.
but understanding the principles behind it.
Yes.
The timing, the misdirection, and
Right.
how that can be applied to,
Yeah. Thank
any form of communication.
Right. You can use those same principles in a presentation,
Trying to-
telling a story,
Mm,
even just trying to make a point in a conversation.
right. Yeah.
And that's what we're going to try to extract here.
Yes.
Let's talk about another impromptu favorite of his.
Okay.
The rubber band around the wrist routine. This one is all about building tension and surprise
Mhm.
with just a simple rubber band.
So simple.
And it's a masterclass in structure.
Oh, cool.
You start with something seemingly ordinary,
Okay.
and through a series of seemingly impossible movements,
Mm-hmm.
you create a visual snap
Uh-huh.
that leaves the audience bewildered.
Yeah, they love that.
And it's not just about the method, which
Yeah.
honestly most people won't remember.
Right, it's the feeling.
Yeah, it's the overall experience, the
Yeah.
emotional journey that makes it memorable.
Exactly.
It's like a good movie.
Yes.
You might forget the details,
Uh-huh.
but you remember how it made you feel.
Right.
That's what we're going for.
That's what we want.
All right, so this leads us to another challenge that Matt addresses.
Okay.
Table magic.
Mm-hmm.
Table magic is so difficult.
Yes, so awkward.
He makes a great point about the awkwardness
Yeah.
of interrupting people at their tables.
You're just trying to enjoy dinner.
Yeah, we've all been there. trying to have a conversation.
Right.
Suddenly there's a magician trying to
Right.
get our attention.
Right.
But as performers,
Yeah.
sometimes it's unavoidable.
Right. We have to do it.
What's his solution?
I'm intrigued.
Well, it's a bit,
Okay.
shall we say, unexpected.
Right.
It's routine called Critter Surprise,
Critter surprise. Okay.
and it involves a raccoon puppet named Herbie.
Okay.
That sounds adorable, right?
Yeah.
Well, it starts out cute,
Mm-hmm.
but then takes a hilarious turn
Okay.
when Herbie poops on the table.
Oh my gosh.
Pure comedic gold.
Wow.
But what's fascinating
Yeah.
is why this works so well.
Yeah. Why would that work?
Right. So we have a pooping raccoon puppet
Yeah.
on the table.
Oh,
What's the deeper lesson here?
yeah. Like, what's he really doing?
Instead of awkwardly intruding,
Yeah.
he breaks the tension
Yeah.
with something
Yeah.
so outrageous
Ugh.
and funny.
Mm.
He instantly becomes the most likable person
Mhm.
at the event.
Right.
He's no longer an interruption.
Yeah.
He's the source of entertainment
Right.
and shared laughter.
Yeah.
It's like he disarms the audience with humor
Uh-huh.
before they even know what hit them.
Yeah. They don't even see it coming.
And Matt even mentions that event planners are keenly aware
Oh, really?
of
Yeah.
this dynamic.
Okay.
They're not just looking at
Yeah.
who can pull off the flashiest tricks they're
Right.
watching,
Yeah.
who can genuinely connect with the crowd, who can get those genuine laughs.
Right.
That's the mark of a true performer.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay, so Matt talks about another stage routine
Okay.
that he does
Uh-huh.
called Ropes of Death.
Oh, wow.
The name alone is pretty intriguing.
Yeah.
While the audio wasn't super clear
Oh.
on how it works,
Uh-huh.
he emphasizes that strong magic should be matched
Okay.
by equally strong comedy.
Oh, okay.
He wants his audiences to experience both
Yeah.
eyeballs bleeding astonishment and side-splitting laughter.
Sure, he wants it all.
So, Ropes of Death
Mhm.
delivers on both fronts.
Apparently.
He talks about the elaborate buildup,
Mhm.
the gags,
Mm-hmm.
the safety precautions he pretends to take.
Okay.
He even pulls out a severed head.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's over the top,
Wow.
but it's designed to keep the audience on the edge of their seats.
I mean, that's great.
Right.
So theatrical. isn't it?
Yeah. And it brings us to one of Matt's most insightful observations.
Okay.
He says,
Mm.
he might not be the best magician out there,
Okay.
but he consistently gets booked
Yeah.
because he is entertaining.
Interesting.
That's a powerful distinction.
Yeah.
It's not just about technical skill. It's
Yeah.
about understanding how to engage an audience,
Mhm.
how to keep them invested in what you're doing.
Right.
And that's something we can all apply to our own lives.
Absolutely.
We don't have to be the most skilled
Right.
or knowledgeable person in the room to make an impact.
It's all about the connection,
Right.
the personality.
And Matt has a fascinating perspective
Yeah.
on how to achieve that.
Okay.
He says he would kill to know
Kill it now.
what speakers are going to say
Okay.
the moment they step on stage.
Interesting.
Think about that for a second.
Wow.
It's about having a clear plan,
Mm-hmm.
a strong opening,
Yeah.
and a confident presence
Yeah.
from the very beginning.
So true.
Don't waste time
Yeah.
with awkward jokes
Mm.
or rambling introductions.
Uh-huh.
Grab their attention
Yeah.
from the start
Mm-hmm.
and never let go.
Right.
It's a lesson he's learned
Yeah.
from observing countless speakers,
Mm-hmm.
both good and bad.
Yeah.
And it's something that we can all learn from,
Absolutely.
whether we're giving a formal presentation
Right.
or simply trying to make a point in a
Yeah.
meeting.
So true.
The takeaway here is
Yeah.
that a little preparation
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of intentionality can go a long way in making you a more effective communicator.
Couldn't agree more.
So I think this is the essence of Matt Ford's practical magic.
Yeah.
It's not JC about the tricks.
Right.
It's about understanding the psychology of your audience,
Mm-hmm.
crafting an experience that resonates with them,
Uh-huh.
and then delivering it with confidence
Yeah.
and authenticity.
So important.
It's about taking the principles of magic
Yeah.
and applying them
Mm.
to any situation where
Mhm.
you are trying to connect with people and leave a lasting impression.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So let's dive deeper into how we can do just that.
Right.
What specific techniques does Matt share
Yeah.
that we can all use to elevate our communication game?
I'm ready.
Stick around.
Okay. Okay, so we've established
Yeah.
that Matt Ford is all about practicality
Yes.
and audience engagement,
Right.
but how does he actually translate that into his routine?
Yeah. How do we take that broad idea
Right.
and apply it?
Exactly.
Something specific.
Well, let's take another look at the nickel on the forehead trick.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about misdirection?
Yeah.
It's not just a random element.
Uh-huh.
It's strategically placed
Yeah.
within the structure of the routine.
Right. And he times the vanish of the nickel
Exactly.
perfectly with the moment when everybody's attention shifts to the kid's forehead.
Yes,
He's essentially orchestrating the audience's focus.
precisely. And that's a technique that can be applied to any presentation.
Okay.
Think about how you can use visual aids,
Okay.
pauses, or even changes in your tone of voice
Yeah.
to guide your audience's attention
Right.
to the key points you want to emphasize.
It's like planting little breadcrumbs of intrigue.
Exactly.
To keep them following along.
Now, let's think about critter surprise.
Okay.
We talk about how the humor disarms the audience,
Yeah.
but it also serves another purpose.
It creates a shared experience, right?
Exactly. Everyone at the table is in on the joke.
Everyone is laughing together.
And that sense of shared experience,
Mhm.
that moment of collective laughter,
Yeah.
makes the magician instantly more relatable
Yeah.
and approachable.
He's saying, hey, we're all in this together.
Yes.
Let's have some fun.
And that's a powerful tool for any communicator.
Okay.
Think about how you can create those moments of shared experience
Okay.
in your own presentations.
Give me an example.
Maybe it's a funny anecdote,
Okay.
thought-provoking question,
Uh-huh.
or even just a moment of genuine vulnerability.
Okay. Something that makes the audience feel like they're part of the conversation. Not
Exactly.
just passive listeners.
Precisely, and this brings us to another important aspect of Matt's approach,
Okay.
the element of surprise.
Okay.
Think about the rubber band trick.
Uh-huh.
It starts out simple, but then builds to a climax that seemingly defies logic.
It's that unexpected twist that leaves people wondering, how did he do that?
And that sense of wonder, that moment of astonishment,
Yeah.
is what makes
Mhm.
the experience memorable.
So how do we create those moments of surprise in our own communication? It's not like we can make objects disappear.
True, but we can still find ways to subvert expectations.
Okay.
Maybe it's a surprising statistic,
Uh-huh.
a counterintuitive argument,
Yeah.
or even just a shift in perspective
Okay.
that challenges the audience's assumptions.
Keep them on their toes, make them think, I didn't see that coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that element of surprise, when used effectively, can make your message more impactful and memorable.
It's like the difference between reading a predictable news article and stumbling upon a mind-blowing documentary.
Now let's go back to Matt's ropes of death routine.
Yeah.
We don't know the exact method,
Mm.
but we know it involves a lot of build-up gags and even a severed head.
Right.
It's clear that he's not afraid to be theatrical,
Uh-huh.
to use props and storytelling,
Yeah.
to create a truly immersive experience.
Like he's creating a mini movie on stage.
And that's a valuable lesson for all of us.
Okay.
We can use our words, our body language, and even our presentation materials
Yeah.
to create a more dynamic and engaging experience.
Thinking beyond the bullet points.
Yes.
Finding ways to tell a story that captures their imagination.
And remember what Matt said about wanting to know what a speaker will say
Yeah.
the moment they walk on stage.
Right.
That's all about confidence and preparation.
It's about having a clear intention, a strong opening,
Yes.
and a sense of purpose
Yeah.
that comes through in every word and gesture.
And that's something we can all cultivate,
Okay.
regardless of our experience or expertise.
Yeah. How?
It's about taking the time to rehearse,
Mhm.
to refine our message,
Mm-hmm.
and to visualize ourselves delivering it
Okay.
with confidence and conviction.
Like any skill, the more we practice, the more natural and effortless it becomes.
Now let's shift gears a bit and think about how we can apply Matt's insights
Okay.
to those everyday situations where we might not have a stage
Right.
or a microphone,
Yeah.
but we still want to communicate effectively.
So how do we bring that same level of intentionality
Right.
and engagement to a team meeting or a client pitch
Okay.
or even just a casual conversation?
Well, let's start by thinking about our nickel on the forehead moments.
Okay.
What are those simple yet effective techniques we use
Mm-hmm.
that consistently get a positive reaction?
It might be a particular way of framing a question,
Okay.
a go-to analogy that always clarifies a complex concept,
Uh,
or even just a well-timed pause
right.
that creates suspense.
Whatever it is, the key is to be aware of those techniques, to understand why they work,
Yeah.
and to use them strategically to enhance our communication.
It's about being mindful of our impact on the audience, even if that audience is just one person across a coffee table.
And remember, Matt's emphasis on humor.
Yeah.
It's not just about telling jokes.
Mm-hmm.
It's about finding ways to lighten the mood,
Yeah.
to create a sense of connection,
Okay.
and to make people feel comfortable and engaged.
So even if we're not cracking poop jokes with a raccoon puppet, we can still find ways to inject a little humor and playfulness
You got it.
into our interaction.
It's about not taking ourselves too seriously
Right.
and remembering that even the most serious topics can benefit from a touch of levity.
Yeah, I like that.
And finally, let's not forget the importance of being adaptable.
Okay.
Just like Matt embraces those unexpected moments on stage,
Yeah.
we need to be prepared to adjust our approach
Right.
when things don't go according to plan
Okay.
in our everyday conversations.
Yeah.
It's about being present in the moment, listening actively,
Mm.
and being willing to go with the flow.
And sometimes those unexpected detours
Yes.
can lead to the most interesting and insightful conversations.
Absolutely.
So let's embrace the unpredictable, the unscripted,
Yes.
and the moments of serendipity
I love that.
that make life so interesting.
Because in the end, it's the connections we make,
Yeah,
the stories we share, and the genuine human interactions that truly matter.
beautifully said.
Thanks.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Matt Ford's practical magic,
Yeah.
let's take a moment to reflect on the key takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
How can we take these insights and apply them to our own lives?
Yes.
Both on and off the metaphorical stage.
That's a great question, and one that we'll explore in more depth in our final segment.
Stick around. Okay, so we've unpacked a ton of Matt Ford's wisdom, but
Yeah.
now let's make it practical, right?
It's doing.
What's the one thing you want listeners to walk away with today?
I think the one thing I want listeners to walk away with is that anyone can be more engaging, more impactful,
Yeah,
more magical
Right.
in their communication.
right.
It's not about innate talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's about applying these principles that we've been discussing.
Like Matt said, he's not necessarily the best magician,
Right.
but he gets booked because he's the most entertaining.
Exactly. And that's a mindset shift for a lot of us, right?
Yeah.
We get so caught up in being perfect,
Right.
having all the answers.
Mhm.
But people connect with authenticity, with passion, with someone who is genuinely invested in sharing something they care about.
Yes.
That's what leaves a lasting impression.
And thinking back to those specific tricks, greater surprise is such a great example.
Right.
I mean, it would be easy to dismiss it as silly,
Yeah.
but there's such brilliant strategy there.
On the surface, it's a pooping raccoon.
Right.
But what Matt's really doing is breaking down barriers,
Yeah.
creating a shared moment of laughter
Right.
that makes him instantly approachable.
And that makes the audience more receptive to whatever comes next.
Exactly.
He's earned their trust,
Yes.
their attention
Yeah.
through something
Right.
as simple as a well-placed gag.
So the question for the listeners is, what's my version of Critter's surprise?
Right.
What's that unexpected element, that
Yeah.
bit of personality that I can bring
Mm.
to my communication to make it stand out?
Maybe it's a personal anecdote. That illustrates a point.
Right.
A self-deprecating joke to lighten the mood.
Mhm.
Or even just a willingness to show a bit of vulnerability
Right.
to connect on a human level.
And remember what we discussed about structure.
Yeah.
Even Critter's surprise
Mm.
has its place
Right.
in the overall flow of Matt's performance.
It's not just random chaos.
Right. It serves a specific purpose.
So when you're planning that next presentation,
Yeah.
or even just preparing for an important conversation, think about the emotional arc
Uh-huh.
you want to create.
Yeah.
Where do you want to inject humor?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to build tension?
Yeah.
Create surprise?
Right.
It's about being intentional
Yeah.
with every element, every word, every gesture.
Just like Matt does with his magic.
And one final thought.
Okay.
I absolutely love this from Matt.
Mhm.
He would kill to know
Kill to know.
what a speaker will say
Right.
the moment they start. It sounds extreme,
Yeah.
but there's such wisdom in that.
It highlights the importance of confidence in preparation.
Yes.
Imagine walking into that meeting,
Yeah.
that pitch, that presentation,
Mm.
knowing exactly what you want to achieve
Yeah.
and how you're going to get there.
That clarity
Yes.
translates into charisma,
Mm.
into a presence
Yeah,
that commands attention.
absolutely.
It's no longer about hoping for the best.
Right.
It's about executing a well-rehearsed plan.
And that's a skill anyone can develop.
Yeah, how so?
It starts with being clear about your message, your audience,
Mhm.
and the impact you want to have.
Okay.
Then it's about practicing,
Mhm.
refining,
Yeah.
and visualizing
Okay.
until it feels effortless.
So whether you're presenting to a boardroom of executives, teaching a classroom of students,
Yeah.
or simply trying to persuade your friend to see your point of view.
Right.
Remember the lessons of practical magic.
Be intentional, be engaging, be surprising,
Yeah.
and most importantly,
Yeah.
be yourself.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of practical magic.
Absolutely.
Now go out there and make some magic of your own.
Yes, have fun.